So, according to a 2021 HubSpot study, 50% of prospects you are talking to are not a good fit for your product or service. Stick around to learn how to distinguish between your ideal prospects and unqualified prospects in today's live gym session. Hi, I'm Dale Fallon, and welcome to Live at the Gym, where we work out our communication muscles so that we can improve the quality of our conversations. And before we meet Cody Cogan, our guest today, let me share some more statistics from a 2021 HubSpot report on sales professionals. They say the average sales professional spends approximately 50% of their time talking to and researching their prospects. And more than 40% of salespeople say that prospecting is the most challenging part of the sales process. So in today's Live at the Gym session, we are going to talk about the difference between a prospect and a suspect, and we're going to give you some communication tools and exercises to help you improve your ability to pre-qualify your prospects through meaningful conversations and questions, and then secure discovery meetings when the time is right. So before we bring Cody in, let's talk about the 4 key attributes and elevator questions. These are the communication tools that we use to help you define and discern between a suspect and a prospect. A suspect could become a prospect, could become an ideal client. We don't know yet, but we want you to define 4 key things to make sure before you invite them into your pipeline. Let's put them up on the screen. Let's talk about the key attributes. Number 1, the first key attribute is, I want to make sure you get the slide right, Heather, so we'll throw it in. The first key attribute is the title of the decision maker. We want to know, are we talking to the decision maker? Is this the person who can make the decision? Because if they can't, then we don't have a fully qualified prospect yet. Our second one that we talk about is the problem, right? We want to know that they've got a problem, a unique problem that we can solve, something that we're qualified to solve. So once we've identified what that problem is, we haven't drilled down deep into it, but we know they've got a problem that we can solve for them. The third, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be budget. Yep. We want to know they have a budget, that they've got some idea of what this is going to cost them, and then they've got the money to do it. If not, they're still a suspect. And fourth, and finally, we want to know the time frame. We want to know, are they ready to move on this? Is there a sense of urgency to take action? Because if they're looking at something down the road, now this depends. There's a wide variety of time frames, which sales cycles, depending on the business that you're in. But we want to know that they're in that sales cycle too. They're ready to make a commitment when the time comes. So these are the 4 key attributes. And today we're going to talk about building your elevator questions so that you can get and uncover those 4 key attributes so that you can invite qualified prospects into your pipeline. But let's bring a guy who's been working on this for a while now, Cody Cogan, into the mix. Cody, welcome. Cody is the principal at Endeavor Professional Services, an engineering and design firm focused on serving the oil and natural gas industry, located in State College, Pennsylvania. And Endeavor is positioned to provide timely services across the entire shale play, which is a pretty big area here, Pennsylvania and beyond, too. Cody's also a dedicated gym member. I would almost go as far as to say a gym rat. He likes to do his work, and he's always showing up in time. He's got a horse farm, and he's got a side hustle as a baseball umpire, right, Cody?
Yeah, that's right, Dale. Yeah, you summed it up pretty good.
All right, cool.
You must have been paying attention when we were in the gym.
Well, I try to, and we try to do a good job of heralding people here as well. So you are a great representative for our gym members and what it means to actually stay committed. I mean, it's interesting that as the founder, you've got your own horse farm fully faced. This isn't a little horse farm. You got a full operation going in. You do baseball. Busy, right, Cody?
Yeah, hey, time. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it keeps me busy, but ultimately, my time here with Endeavor, that's my day job.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of fun on the side. So the work that we put in here definitely helps me do what I do on a daily basis. And it's part of one of my major roles in being the principal is onboarding new clients, doing that business development, being out, being the eye and the face of Endeavor. And the tools we use here and develop and practice help me do that every day.
Yeah, and we started off so we start off with the 4 key attributes, and what that really is about is defining who your ideal client is, your ideal prospect. And just a quick caveat on that, and then I want you to tell us a little bit about your key attributes and how you've defined it. It doesn't mean if they're not perfect that you don't want to talk to them or you just brush them aside. What we're looking at doing first and foremost is know what you're looking for, know really ideally what the center of the bullseye looks like, and define it so that you know when to find it. And then when you do find it, you get it, you work your way around it. Sometimes you have to mold it a little bit, and sometimes it's really ready to go for you there. So tell us, Cody, a little bit about your ideal prospect or ideal client, and maybe what those 4 key attributes are.
Yeah, absolutely, Dale. So that exercise in determining what the bullseye is and those 4 key attributes, like you queued up here and alluded to, very, very important. And it was something that up until we started working out in the gym, it was something we kind of haphazardly went about doing. But now, since we refined those, it really hones that target in for me in terms of, hey, we have the ideal clients, and then we have those people that, yeah, we still want to talk to, but they may not be directly in the wheelhouse. So take care of that low hanging fruit first. Work with those that check all those boxes, and then you can make the decisions on the rest. So for me personally, and an ideal client for Endeavor are regulatory directors and managers. So it's those personnel that are handling the engineering, design, or regulatory and compliance for a mid-sized oil and gas exploration and production company.
So those are the decision makers, right, Cody?
That's correct. Yep. So those are our decision makers. They're usually pretty easy to find, but more often than not, there's a team of them. So when we talk about decision makers, there may not be just one. They may collaborate together. 2 typical problems. I mean, the problems can vary, but the one that I try to figure out or hone in on right away are they growing? Do they have an expanding leasehold? Do they have an active drilling program? Did they just acquire another company? Those big indicators of growth mean opportunity for me and Endeavor. That's not to say there aren't other problems that we can that aren't indicators for me that I want to continue a conversation, but those right there are at the very top of my list.
Okay.
And then ultimately the budget question. We got to have money to play. And ultimately the budget I'm looking for, that can vary, but I want to know to start out of the gate with a new client, typically maybe 1 or 2 projects in the first year, maybe 3. Depending on how aggressive they are, but I'm looking for a budget right around the $200,000 mark for us.
And Cody, real quick, that doesn't mean you don't want a $50,000 client or a $10,000 job. It just means that you want to know where that range is, and that the thing about the budget is that we know they've got the money ready. It's not that they're thinking about doing this thing, because when we're in the sales process, it's about decision making. It's moving it through that pipeline and making it happen.
Yeah, and Dale, what you keyed in on right there is, I mean, obviously we're going to start out, that single project may only be 40 or 50,000, but you got to crawl, walk, then run. Develop the relationship, develop the rapport, and then the rest comes. And then next year we may be talking about a budget that's double that. So
I got to push us through, because we're going to get our workout slide here coming up in a second, Cody. So what's the urgency? What's the time frame for them?
Yeah, so what I like to see is about 2 months. So that gives us some time to onboard them, check all of our boxes, and then get to work.
Yep. So a final point on it, in that sense of urgency is important, because if they say, hey, I need you tomorrow, that may be a bad clue. That may be an indicator that might not be an ideal client, and we've got some problems to solve there first. Sometimes it's better to pump the brakes, right?
It is. Yeah. Completely vet out what exactly you're getting into before you jump in head first.
Yep. All right. So we got to get our workout in. All right, Cody. So here we go. The way we're working on this one is, you've got your 4 key attributes. You and I are going to meet at a networking function. You know that I'm in your industry, and I may or may not be a decision maker, but your job is to use what we call the elevator questions, which we didn't talk too much about today, but the elevator questions really are just, what questions can you use to bullet point, go straight to the heart of the matter, and try to get the answers to those 4 key attributes and find out if I'm that person. Let's start the exercise with those. I'll give you yes or no answers. Just go straight to the heart of the matter, right? Cut to the chase. And then at the end, you decide whether you want to schedule a meeting with me or it's, hey, nice talking to you. Let me move on. Let's start there.
Okay.
Two versions of this. Okay.
Very good, Dale.
All right.
Hey, Dale, good to meet you today. I'm glad you can make it out to the networking event.
Hey, good to meet you too, Cody.
I'm assuming since you're here, you work for an operator within the industry, and ultimately, I'm guessing you have some decision making role within your company.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the head of our team. We've got 3 guys on the team that bring in new contractors for us as we continue to grow, which we've been doing a lot recently.
Very good. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, with growth comes its own challenges and such. I guess what is the biggest challenge relative to your development goals that you've encountered, or the biggest hurdle you're having an issue with in attaining those goals?
The short answer is, Cody, we've been working with some contractors who are they've done a good job for us, but I don't think they're positioned for us. Like, I think they're going to handle this year's business, but I think as we continue to grow in 2 or 3 years, they're not going to be able to keep up scale. There's some of the the old guys in the business. They love doing the work, but they're not at the pace that we are.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're looking to bring on maybe some additional horsepower to do some good work for you moving forward.
Yeah, you got that right. Horsepower is the right word.
Gotcha, gotcha. So Dale, with that, I mean, you said you're growing, looking to bring on some additional horsepower to meet your development needs. I guess, have you thought about the timing on that? I mean, is this tomorrow? Is this 2 months from now? 3 months from now? When do you think on making a move here?
So we're not in a press. We've got some things in the pipeline that we've got pretty well handled. We'd like to onboard probably another contractor within this year, but
Mhm.
that probably means within the next 4 to 6 months. That's a
Okay.
pretty good window for us. We've got some jobs that we've got lined up that'll be starting then, and I think that window works well.
Understood. Understood. And Dale, I'm guessing you guys have, with the development you have going on, the aggressive development and looking to bring on additional, you have quite a robust spending budget for the upcoming year to accommodate that development.
Yeah, we do. I don't mind you pressing to the chase there. We're fully prepared to pay. We know the cost of our jobs, and we've got it ready to go.
Understood. Understood. Well, I tell you what, Dale, I mean, I don't want to monopolize your time here today. We are at a networking event. We're to network.
Yeah.
But I do think there may be an opportunity for Endeavor and your team to potentially do some work together. So if it's of interest to you, I'd like to schedule maybe a 30 to 45-minute discovery meeting with you and your team, and to see if we're a good fit for one another and if it makes sense moving forward with an MSA process and talking about your future development and how we fit in. Is that something that may be of interest to you?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like something that we should do. If you guys, I've heard of you guys, Cody, so it seems like a pretty good fit. Let's check it out.
Very good. We'll be in touch. We'll set something up, Dale. Thanks.
All right, straight to the heart of the matter, Cody. Well done, like I would have expected.
Good. I thought it was pretty good, pretty smooth.
Yep. When I teed you up with some nice, right. You got the right answers there.
Yeah.
And had I changed it around, or had we had more time, what we'll do in a gym session is we'll take this another level and change my responses to kind of make it a little more variable. Maybe we're ready, not ready to start this year. We're ready to start in 18 months, or maybe we don't have the budget, or we don't really have a problem. We love our vendors, and we're doing really well. The key to the exercise is you've practiced these questions, you've worked on these questions, and you tease next week's gym session, which is the transition statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes,
got your answers ready to go. You didn't even know you were teasing next week's session.
I didn't.
Well done. You got your answers, and you were prepared and ready to go to move to that next statement. And that's what we want you to be, is prepared and ready to go. So you move into that next phase. Cody, you did a fantastic job, as I would have expected. What we do in a larger gym session, again, is repetition, right? Keep repeating this. You've heard this from me 1,000 times. Don't practice until you get it right once. Keep practicing until you can't get it wrong. So these questions are second nature to you. And I think a lot of people are hesitant to jump in and ask those powerful questions. So let's recap real quickly. Start by defining your 4 key attributes of your ideal prospect. Make sure you know those answers and build your questions out so that you can make the distinction between a suspect and a prospect. Today, do that exercise today. Get yourself to the point where Cody's at, where you've got conscious competence of what those questions are, and then where Cody's at, where you've got unconscious competence. And practice your questions today and keep practicing them over and over again. Join us on Thursdays here on LinkedIn for more communication workouts. Don't forget, practice until you can't get it wrong. Grab your complimentary playbook page in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for past gym replays and our blog for more communication practice tips and exercises. Cody, thank you so much for joining us. You did a fantastic job demonstrating practice. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dale. I'm glad I could help, and thanks for having me on.
You bet, man. Thank you for joining us for this week's workout, and we'll see you at the gym.